All right, live drum practice. Going back to Smells Like Teen Spirit, mostly because I was working on Believer and I kind of want to take the drum set and just throw it out the window, and I felt like that probably wasn't an appropriate thing to do. It probably would make a good video though. And I needed to work on this song for a student anyway. So we're coming back to Smells Like Teen Spirit. I think this is day 4 in the intro. Now, there's a couple little changes that we made. Actually, going back and listening to how Dave Grohl was playing it, John commented like he's not putting such an emphasis on his foot, and I'm like, oh man, let's check this out. Kind of going through the sheet music again, John noticed a couple little things. We made some changes. So I think that's kind of a cool thing about what we will try to do. We will try to make this really exact and perfect. And John, who writes all of our sheet music, even noted, he's like, hey, it's when I was doing, as soon as I get this microphone to stand, when I was doing Blackbird, he's like, oh, I can hear the song. Like I can hear kind of the transcription. And I was like, God, I'd hope you can. But sometimes on drums, since I'm not a great drummer, I'm working to be a good drummer. Some of those things he doesn't pick up on right away, but it's kind of fun for him to write a piece of sheet music. He's a very talented writer. And then to hear it kind of live how he thinks it should live, and then notice little things like that, and we'll fix them and perfect them. And that's, I think, what separates us apart from other music studios and other places that write sheet music. We want it to look nice and look good. Now, if you want to support us doing that, become a member at musicbythemeasurespro.com. We appreciate you guys' support. Or even if you want to like, comment, subscribe on this video and all those good things that people do on YouTube, that helps as well. So I am not very good at this song. Like I said, Saturday I had my last rehearsal on Believer. It wasn't going very well. I kind of felt like music as a whole was kind of shaky for me. So I took Sunday off. I slept in, chilled a little bit, relaxed. And so I'm going to hit this with some new perspective. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I don't know if 50 is going to be the right tempo or not. We're going to start there. Some of this is a little bit easier because what we had before was a little bit more of a rhythmic challenge for me. This one's not as bad. The big thing is Dave Grohl plays this loud and he hits hard. So, we're not going to hit hard right away. Unless I'm terrible, then I might hit hard. We're just trying to get the idea of this down. So we got 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. Or 4 and just leave that hi-hat open. So really, I'm actually going to take my foot off. I mean, I don't need to really be there, right? Now, I probably have to put a little bit more hi-hat in there. Or 4 and. All right. Before I get too far ahead of myself, let's try 50, but we're not. Oops, we lost everything. But let's try 50, but let's just try to get this first idea down. Or we'll try this 1E into 2E and again, 50 might be a good tempo. It might not. I really want to hear 1E and 2. 1E and so I can really think about my technique that has to go, right? Like if I keep my leg up, it's so much easier for me to get another stroke in. Let's see, 1E and 2E. So that's a little bit faster than what I want. Let's try like 44. Two E and 1E and 2E and 1E and 2E and now even 44 feels a little awkward, right? It's kind of like so slow it's hard to keep it going. But doing that's going to help me as soon as I try to push this rhythm tempo-wise. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and all right, and now it's coming back to me. Missing a couple days makes me forget stuff. 1E, 2E, 1. Oh, I kind of feel like I have to do the whole thing. All right, we're going to try this. And we're going to try feet, hands together. Feet, hands together. Feet, hands together. I might probably go hands, feet, then together. So try to do 2 in each. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 1 E, 2 E, and okay, so I gotta click that out, that rhythm. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and so you can see I'm a little loose on this, right? Which, you know, if you miss some practices, that's going to happen. And 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and E 2 E. All right, let's try this on the hi-hat a minute. I just want to hear all those 16th notes. And 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 2 E 3 E 4 and so one way I'm trying to think about this is 1 E. I'm not trying to think about the ones and the ends. Let me explain myself. So I'm trying to think about da da do da da do da. Makes more sense in my head than saying it out loud. I'm really all my foot is trying to do is play where there isn't a click or isn't a downbeat, right? The 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. Well, 4 and. So if I can get my brain to hear that, I don't have to count. I don't have to think about counting. I can like think about other things like why does my leg take so much effort to play well? So let's try this again at 44. Sometimes these exercises don't happen well at a certain tempo. It may mean go slower. It may mean speed it up. It may mean you're just going to suck at it for a bit. E and 3 E 4 and 1 E 2 E 3 E 4 and E 4 and 1 E 2 E 3 E 4 and now as predominantly a guitarist, and I'll barely even call myself that, I'm thinking these as the up strums, right? Well, E 2 E 3 E 4 and all I'm trying to do is like play with that metronome and get that idea of that skipping. So then all of a sudden when I put this what is the downbeat, right? All of a sudden it'll do some of the work for me, and I don't even think that's good yet. All right, we're gonna try to put together at 44, and then we'll speed it up. Again, slow, just deal with it. E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. Hands. 2 and 3 and 4. 1 E 2 E 3 E 4 and 1 E 2 E 3 E 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and so a lot of it is I'm rushing that first E. So it's good to hear. Like I left Saturday, like I was doing some tracking, I did a live, I think, and then I went like, shit, like maybe you don't need to play music to be happy in life. Just couldn't hear stuff. And it might have been just literally like running hard for 5 days and your ears do get tired. Nick and I were just chatting, Nick who does or works with me at Music by the Measures. We were chatting, like he just did a little bit of a change in a mix for somebody, and we're like, man, ears get tired quickly, and then all of a sudden stuff goes downhill, and it changes your perspective of stuff. And sometimes it's cumulative effect, right? Like it's 5 days or 6. I think I did like 6 or 7 days in a row lives, like almost 1 to 2 a day. That's a lot for me. that can burn your ears out. And then at the end of the week, you do need a day off to just chill and crash and let your body heal. 2 E and 3 E and 4 hands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and. So, okay, wasn't perfectly played in time, but you could hear that I like waited the appropriate amount to put the kick in. You have to hear this stuff at a slow tempo, understand it, and then put it together at a faster one. 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and. All right, rush that last and, but we're getting the idea. Let's go up by 2 or 4s. I think 40 might have been a slow spot to start, but that's okay. 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and. So the reality is, though, I wasn't hearing the idea well at like 54, 50, wherever we started. Now it's like at 52, I'm like, oh man, because I went slower, I can sink into what that idea is supposed to sound like. 4 and 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and. 4 and 1 E and much slower than I was doing. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and. I'm always rushing that 4 and. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and. 'So the other thing I have to be careful about, sometimes that isn't on the end. Now, the reason I'm like faster tempo, faster tempo, faster tempo, like I feel like all the parts are doing what they're supposed to, so I can like kind of start pushing that tempo and see where I'm at. It's easy enough for me to go, right? I don't have a problem with that. At this tempo, 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and. That's mostly okay. You can hear sometimes the kick isn't doing exactly what I want. 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and hands. 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and 1 E, 2 E and 3 E and 4. Let's do that again. 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 and. I'll again call out the kick isn't always on the E. All right, let's speed her up. 3 and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and. Okay, so you kind of see like I've ditched those other exercises because right now I feel like I'm hearing it well enough that I can make those adjustments while playing everything. If I wasn't able to make those adjustments, I'd go back to just hands, feet, hands, feet. Better. So really just use the hands to hear, essentially on 1 E end, right? Everybody's getting represented. 1 E and 1 E, 1 E and 2 E and they just have to wait their turn. And a more skilled drummer than me, somebody more rhythmic versed might be a good way to say that. Would not rush that E like I like to, but 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and. Hey Robert, what are you up to today, my guy? All right, let's do 64. Same thing. Gonna really let those eighth notes guide the timing for this, and then hopefully the kicks can kind of land where they have to. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, one thing I want to call out is like I have no problem playing that eighth note in time when I'm not doing the foot, which means you just got to hear that rhythm well enough. 2E and a 3E and a 4 and 1 and. And 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and 1E and a 2E and a 3E. So I wouldn't say that's perfect by any means, but it's where I'm playing it well enough. I'm not. Some of the sloppiness is just bad technique more than like, hey, he doesn't know how to play this at this point. So. We'll just keep pushing this tempo until it does become sloppiness and bad technique combined. And then we'll move to the other section. 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and. So first two were really, really good, and then beat 3 and 4. I kind of like, oh, do I know how to play this? 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and. I do love that if from 64 to 68 was, all it took to make me not play well. All of a sudden I didn't feel like I could do the kicks well. So actually let's try 68, and we're gonna try to go 1E, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and 1E, a 2E, a 3, yeah. 2E and a 3E and a 4 and a 1E and a. So that's just me guessing, right? 4 and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and 1 and 2 and. And at that point, you're like, all right, well, 64 was it. 64 was it if I want to play it in time, which is the ambition here, to continue to play it in time. So we're going to stay with a slower tempo. All right, let's see if this is actually playable. And the second this gets too sloppy, I'm just going to move to the next part of the intro. Give my brain a little break. 1E, a 2E, a 3E, a 4. So I'm struggling to hear that offbeat. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and 1E, 3E and a 4 and 1E, a 2E, a 3E, a 4 and 1E, a 2E, a 3E. And then you get to the tempo where it's like, if I want to actually count that out, it's tough for me to do. So, you do your best and then you put it back together. 1E and up. I can just hear the slop in that. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4 and. All right, so we know we got to 64. We're going to save that. We're going to move on. Every once in a while you choose to run it into the dirt. Sometimes you want to be like, all right, let's move on. It's a move on kind of day. Don't know what tempo to start, so we'll just jump down to 50 again. Now, one thing that we changed in the sheet music is he's doing a double crash. If I get lazy, I'm only going to do this crash, since I'm going to be working on this for a bit. Things to tighten up here is the same thing, these 16th notes. Got to continue to work on this in my own playing. So we got 1, a 2, a 1. So I'm just going to try to get 1E into 2E into tight. The 2 and 1E and 2E and 1E and 2. And 1E and 2E and 1E and 2E and. Cool. We're doing the same thing. Now, when I have to do 3 and right? 3. Now, I can do a double like that if I'm not thinking or playing anything else. 3. Oh, the minute I got to go from 3. 3E. That's tough for me to do. So we're going to do a slow enough tempo that we can fix some bad technique. It's something to think about in your own practice. If you're aware enough, which here's the problem. I have a decent amount of awareness because I taught so many. Dude, I taught for like 15 years. Doesn't mean I can play a lot, as you can kind of see, but I know enough to be like, all right, you're doing this wrong. These are 3 things. Go fix this, and I'll go see you in a week. And then they'll have that fixed. And I'll be like, all right, well, you got to work on this problem now. So it's having that awareness of like, how do I fix this, and then choosing about, okay, is today a day that I want to spend time resolving this? Because you got about 1,000 things you could fix in your playing. You can't fix all 1,000 at once. You can make a couple better. So one thing that I want to work on right now today at 40 BPM, we'll see if that's a good tempo, is 1 and right? Now, what you're not seeing with my foot is I'm going to slide up the pedal a bit more. So my first hit's like that. And you can also see that I'm not releasing enough. And again, hyper-focused on a couple things that I'm not doing well in my playing. Okay? Then my next one I want to be what I would call a double. I think a lot of people would call it double. Right? And my foot's in this down position, and then I want that last one to be an up. I call it an up. It's not really. I'm thinking of guitar, up strum. 1 and 2 and 1 or 3 and 4 and. So we want to practice that motion. I don't know if 40 BPM's the tempo to practice this motion at, but we'll find out. 4 and so 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and. So 40's a little slow, but I like it. It gives you a chance to exaggerate the motion. I think that's key. Like, if I can make my emotions really, really big, not my emotions, my motions. I can sometimes make my emotions really big, though, too. It benefits nobody. If I can make my motion big, I can then start to, understand what I'm actually trying to play and then bring it down to something that actually has a skill set to it. Big motions aren't great, especially on drums when you have to hit something repetitively. So be okay with trying to understand the part and then trying to bring it down to something simpler or less motion. And also, it shouldn't be causing you any strain or stress. End of 4 and 3, end of 4 and 3, end of 4 and end of 4 and 3, end of 3, end of 4 and 3, end of. Do you hear that pocket that I have to sit inside? If you can understand this pocket at 40, you'll then understand it at 50 and 60 and 70. So it's like coaching yourself on how 16th notes sound. You heard me rush it like 12 times in a row. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to hear that. 3, end of 4 and 3, end of. End of 4 and now trying to keep that same technique. 3, end of 4 and 4 and so it's actually 3 end of 4 and 3 end of 4 and 4 and so we're going to speed it up by 4 and do the exact same process. I want to start putting it together every time, right? Like, I really want to hear 3 and 4, and I really want, I would like to end with a double and then come back up on that next one. It'd be a great way for me to teach my leg how to play it. All of that may not happen today. It'll happen over time. 4 or 5 days in a row of doing this song, you guys will see like changes in your technique. If you practice for the technique, that might be a great way to say it though. You have to practice for the technique. If I just try to learn this and brute force it, yeah, I can probably do it. I can probably do it at full speed. Not right now, but by the end of the week. But if I learn this technique, if I make this a part of my, I don't know, I want to say love language, but leg language might be a better way to say that, or rhythmic language. Part of my technique, it will become a part of my playing. I won't have to work this hard all the time. Right now, it's hard work because, well, I didn't spend an hour going, I don't know how to do, you can see I don't know how to do it. I like triple lit. I can do a little bit, but I don't have that control, right? Now, down the road, I'd like to take a month off of learning any songs and just do rudiments and exercise. That would be a phenomenal month for me to do. I think it would help me probably level up a ton on all these songs and play with less strain and stress. But I'm always in this run and gun situation of like, all right, these students need to learn these 4 songs. Oh, you have a recital coming up. Oh, you need to work on this. All right, so let me learn these pieces, get them as good as I can so I can teach you guys. All right. 3 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 3 and 4 and 3 and and 4 and 3 and 4 and now, even though I'm not playing in time, I'm really pleased that my leg is ending in that position. What a strange thing to be excited about, right? My leg is ending in a good position for me. That, I've set the bar high in my life. And it even did it without me thinking at that time. That's really what we're going for. It stinks to almighty that, you have to slow this down to like 40 BPM or 38 BPM to like, I feel like I'm pulling out brand new technique. But like, you have two options. Learn it through a song, which I'm doing, right? Like we're taking this journey of 5-6 days to learn a song. Or you can learn it through exercises. Both are great. What I learned from teaching students, and probably learning from teaching myself too, is I'm more engaged with this. It's a longer process. It won't be a longer process 10 songs down the road. All right, I'm going to shut my mouth for a bit. 3E and a 4 and 3E and a. Three and a 4 and 3 and a. Three and a 4 and 3E and a 4 and 3E and a 4 and 3E and a 4 and trying to think about not losing the technique when I go back to playing everything else. Now, the snare on the E kind of helps me stay in time, but then I lose a little bit of thinking on that. 3 and a 3 and a 4 and 3E and a 4 and 3E and a 4 and. Cool. I'm digging this. It probably doesn't. Like, this is why lessons are very back and forth, right? Like, here's an idea. Go play it. Here's an idea. All right, now my turn. Now faster. Okay, now this. This is only one side of the back and forth. I think it's a little bit more boring, but like, I don't know. It's what it takes me to learn a song. And this is what we're doing. That's what we're doing today. So, feet only. 3 and a 4 and 3 and a 4 and 3E 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 and a 4 and. Oh, you heard I was great, and then that next one I just said, fuck rhythm. I'm just going to push it through. 3E and a 4 and. 3 and a 4 and 3E and a 4 and. And a 4 and 3E and a 4 and. Guys, it's coming together. The technique is coming, and that's the important thing. That's the thing that's going to be able to play it fast by like 2 days from now, maybe 3 years. 2 days to 3 years. Estimated time of arrival. 3 and a 4 and 3 and a 3E and a 4E and a 3 and a. Forgot the rhythm. Now here's the added benefit. This becomes like a 45-minute session on metronome. So if you guys set yourself up and do the exact same thing I'm doing, like 45 minutes of metronome practice, that's freaking huge. right, we're going to go to 56. And try to put this whole measure together. And now if I start to hear, I don't know, if I start to hear somebody not being responsible via the rhythm, then I'll break them down separately. 2 and a 3 E and a 4 and 1, a 2, a 3 E and a 4. And you heard me rush that. 1, a 2, a 3 E and a 4 and 1. So I can just tell you, from spending 5 or 6 minutes or 20 minutes or 10 minutes on that, I don't know how much it was. Don't remember when we started. Such a better ownership of my timing. I may not have to do that exercise again. Like that little bit of that exercise is enough to get me probably to, I don't want to say, but maybe 70, maybe 80 BPM, right? Maybe it's not that big of a jump, but it might bring me to 90. And if anything, it's tomorrow starting that exercise again. It will get you to that beat. There's one other thing I was going to say, but I don't remember what it was. Let's do a couple more of those. I just have to watch my timing. And a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and 1, a 2, a 3 E and a. So now I'm trying to make sure I'm bringing that technique back in. That's the nice thing about keeping it this slow for a little bit longer. Let's go faster. Let's go 60. I think full speed is 118. That sounds about right. I'm gonna go back to just feet. The other thing that gets me a little bit is that 2 3 E, 2 3 E. That little bit of rhythmic trade-off between the snare and the kick there. Might need a little love down the road. And a 4 and 1, a 2. A 3 and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and oops and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 2 a 3 E and a 4 and 1. A 2, a 3 E and a 4 and so I gotta make sure I'm ending correctly because it just helps me a lot. But also it's just better technique than what I was using. 1, a 2, a 3 E and a 4 and 3 E and a 4 and I feel like somebody's moving that hi-hat, but they're not. All right. Same thing, faster. Let's do 64. We'll do some foot because it just really is, it's helping me figure out the part better and quicker. And it's never a bad thing to practice. 3 E and a 4 and 1, a 2, a 3 E and a 4 and 1, a 2, 3 and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1, a 2, a 3 E and a 4 and. Cool. Same thing. Just keep going faster. You know, I'm going to hit a tipping point pretty quick. It might even be 68. But, you know, it's already been a good 40-minute practice. And just having that one little bit of a breakthrough is enough to, like, motivate you to be like, all right, I'm going to push this practice just a little bit. All right, so feet first. 3 and a 4 and 1, a 2, 3 and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and every once in a while, coming back to 1, you hear a little bit of a ba-da, trying to resolve that. 1, a 2, a 3 and a 4 and 1, a 2. Like I said, it'll start getting sloppy. There are a couple good ones in there. So same thing. Same exact thing. 4 and 1, a 2. 1 E and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 and. The way I just played is how, don't know if you can hear a difference, right? But it's being tight on that double, which I'm calling a double, and a drummer can easily correct me and be like, just because you played 2 in a row. But I'm changing my foot a little bit too, right? Okay. Let's try to see if we can put that all together. A 2, 3 and a 4 and 1, a 2. So there's some uncleanness. A 1, or and 1, I guess. 1, a 2, a 3 E and a 4 and 1, a 2. 1, a 2, a 3 E and a 4 and. And then we started falling off. Pretty good, though. Pretty good for me. A 3 and a 4 and 1, a 2. One, a 2. So where I was struggling the other day on this song, and then I carried that struggle over to Believers, when I start speeding stuff up, I'm not hearing my part inside of it. If that makes any sense. I don't know if it does. But you start thinking about music as layers, right? Like here's this 1, 2. I'm doing this way because you guys can maybe see my 4 fingers. My part fits with that part, right? Like it should ba ba da ba da 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 da. Sometimes when I'm playing, I'm actually playing this. I'm playing not in the right time. I'm doing my Charlie Day impression. But when you start learning new stuff and you're pushing your brain and your brain doesn't necessarily know how to like comprehend this, that's where I was struggling the other day. Is like, I know it's wrong. I used the word foggy. Like my rhythm felt foggy. I know it's wrong. I don't know how to hear it. I can't clean it up. And it was just kind of like, shit. Today, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I know where that beat is. I know where that lands. Oh, that kick needs to be late. Oh, that kick needs to be early. It's those kinds of things. And I kind of said that already. Like every once in a while, you need a day off. All right, let's do 80. Got to hear that rhythm yet? As we get to faster tempos, it's going to be harder to hear that idea. And a 4 and 1, a 2, 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3. Now at this tempo you can hear like my enda on 3 and a 4 and it's quite fast for me. 1, a 2, a 3 and a 4 and 1, a 2. So fast that I just played it like shit. And that's okay. Like, this is going to be pushing to faster tempos. Then you slow back down tomorrow and clean it up. A 2, a 3, 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4, and 1, a 2. Now, that one sounded good, but I didn't use the right technique, and that's okay. Right now, it's like if I can play it in time, that's a great step. Now, that last time I used more correct technique for me, for what how I'm trying to approach this. But that was it. Like at 80 BPM, that's a lot of heavy lifting for me. So I got like 10 minutes more, maybe 5 minutes more in me. So let's actually slow this down and see if I can do this at a slower tempo and keep good technique going. This kind of be like, I don't know. We just did a sprint, right? We pushed it as far as I'm comfortable going. Now let's bring it back, have a little jog, a little cool down before we want to end this practice. A 2, 3, and a 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and a 4, and now hear how much easier that was. Even my build up 270 that we were doing was not as clean as that just was. I didn't hear the rhythm as well. I wasn't as relaxed. That's why you kind of push, bring it back. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm actually applying that technique at 70. That's fucking huge, guys. And again, that's why I totally wish I could shake most kids that I work with, and I don't mean that in like a, but it's just like if they would just do the 4 steps to 5 steps, you're like, hey, practice it this way. Do this 4 or 5 times in a row. You will get there so much quicker than me having to do this over and over again with you. It's possible with just the right amount of work and the right amount of perspective. All right, so we're going to do some foot, and then we'll go back into the beat. 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and... One and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and the second time it was pretty good. Then from then on out it's been shit. think that's good for today. We kind of solidified a couple things. We did a little bit of a cool down. It kind of ran a little short. So I clearly need to spend a lot of time on this hi-hat part. I only got that up to 64, which is probably where we were at before, or very close to it. I think 2 or 3 good days of practice, though, we will be putting it all together. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or want to become a member, please join us at